Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, or whatever time you're watching this. I much appreciate it. As some of you may have known, as it happened yesterday as of uploading, today as of recording, the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, passed into the next life. And it's a shame. And it's all solidarity. Today we are all middle-aged fathers. Anyway, the build we are running today is sort of just what I normally run on Arbites as default. Shock Maul, but instead of a bolter, I'm running the Stub Revolver, simply just because I kind of want to. Then we have No Escape, Target Neutralized, Man-Side Mastiff, Hammer of Judgment, Voltaic Shock Mine, Arbitrator Armor, Ammo Belt, Concussive, Suppression Protocols, Breaking Descent, Plasteel Plates, Cleave, Impact, Nuncia Aquila with Inspiring Recitation, Fear of Justice, going over to grab Arbites Revulatum, Zealous Dedication, Prosecution Blow, Justified Measures, Street Smarts, Monstrosity Hunter, Target the Weak, Hold the Line, Drive them back, Forceful, Will of the Lex, Arbites Vigilant, and Targets Acquired. That's the build. Let's get into a game, shall we? Okie dokie. Yeah, I'd say we should have a moment of silence for Ozzy, but I think he wouldn't want that. It was crazy how honestly, kind of beast mode, how he said, yeah, I'm getting Black Sabbath back together for a getaway or for a farewell final concert, and then he did it, and then he was like, all right, clocking out, passed away. Kind of beast mode if you think about it. Jesus. So I had a crazy moment. So I always assumed that my computer temps were recorded in Fahrenheit because I live in America and that's like the default. And I was talking to my friend since I was trying to play Peak, but my PC crashed and it did like the black screen thing I mentioned I've talked about a while. And I was like, yeah, I don't know why it does this sometimes. And he was like, oh, is your temps fine? And I was like, yeah, it's like 86 on the CPU and it's like GPU on average. It's like, oh, that doesn't sound bad. Are you sure you're in Celsius? Are you in Celsius or Fahrenheit? I said, oh, I'm pretty sure it's Fahrenheit. I checked. It wasn't. So it was 80 degrees Celsius. Like, that's pretty fucking bad. So I obviously did the smart thing of, one, I replaced the the thermal paste in my CPU, and then I also obviously cleaned it. And I clean my PC somewhat regularly, but I hadn't had the best compressed air. It was like shitty compressed air, I think, because it didn't have enough pressure. So I went out and bought some new ones. Of course I got a broken one without the receipt. Luckily I was able to fix it. Don't shoot me, please. Jesus Criminy Christmas. Cleaned it out, gotta replace I cleaned out my heatsink, cleaned my fans, replaced the thermal paste on my CPU, got some big dust chunks out from underneath, like in the bottom part of the PC that got in there recently, because, you know, how it be. And now, in Celsius, my temps under load are 82 and 85, but idling, I think it's only this high because I'm recording. Because I was playing Darktide without it, and they didn't go that high. So it's fine. As long as I am careful, it should be a-okay. But yeah, now my idle is around like 40 degrees, 50 degrees Celsius, which is like, from what I understand, the i7 kind of runs hot anyway, so it's always going to be like around that idling. And then GPU is also like similar temps as well, so that's good. But actually my CPU's hovering around 70, which is like 12 to 16 degrees lower than normal. GPU is about the same, as to be expected, but It's good. As long as it can get back to temperature when it's idling, I'm good. Wow, I chewed through ammo already. Revolver moment. Excuse me. Okay, well. There we are. Dealt with the sniper. Alrighty. So that was my day. And then I kind of just hung out with friends, talked about our fight. My buddy at Trapagon, Trapagon on Twitter, NSFW warning, has been in art fight, and he's been drawing like hella drawings. What I understand art fight is essentially like imaginary fighting as a kid, where you'd be like, I shoot you with a gun, and then you're like, nah, I have an anti-gun force field. But basically it's like, ha, I drew your OC. It's like, nah, I drew your OC. And he told me I should try to get into it next time, and I just said no. I don't think I'm good enough for art fight. In fact, I don't think I know I'm not good enough for art fight. Plus, like, who would I even put in the art fight? Would I put... I feel like it'd be weird to put, like, Lilandra. If you don't know, Lilandra's the official name of the channel avatar. Inquisitor Lilandra of the Ordo Malleus. She does a lot of Ordo Hereticus stuff, but she deals with demons and whatnot. And her current story is her and the Night Lord that I have, being Iravan. Iravan, the Hound of the Eighth. He has that nickname not as a thing of condemnation, but as a thing of insult, because his fellow chapter, or her fellow Legion brothers, was essentially like, he was essentially like a teacher's pet for Conrad Kerr. He's like, oh, you're such a loyal dog, aren't you? What the... And she and Iravan essentially was like, he was on a pleasure world, living out his own life. He was taking the role of a adoptive father and husband to this farm lady, and he was like, because he was like, fuck, I don't have to go back to the war. He was on Istvan 5, but got sucked out into a warp thing, shenanigans in the warp, you know how it goes, and was spat out onto this agriculture world, not pleasure world, I'm so sorry, where he just essentially kind of lived his days out as a farmer until a Slaaneshi cult that was actually the leader of the Slaaneshi cult is one of his former Legionnaire brothers by a man the name of I can't, what did I call him? I think it was like Katsun or something, like Katsuan. I can't remember. Something with a K, like K in it, like an aggressive Ka name. Maybe it was like Karis or something. And he is a Slaaneshi sorcerer. And he essentially like raided this planet after hunting Iravan down and killed Iravan's like quote-unquote family. And Iravan, not the biggest fan of that happening, like killed a bunch of Slaaneshi cultists that were attacking, as he essentially like was like, fine, I'll put on my power armor again for this type shit. It's like that scene in Daredevil when he finally comes back to being Daredevil. And Lilandra, who was I think if I remember the name of the cult, it's like the Cult of 1,000 Secret Pleasures or something, or like, I may have exploded my psyker, whose name is aptly Sorceress, might I add. We do not have any ammo. I would really like to stand in my Nuncio Aquila, please. And Lilandra, who was chasing down this cult, or this, like, you know, I guess, yeah, cult is the proper term, or warband, I guess you can also call it potentially, but it doesn't have that many Space Marines, so you can't really call it a warband. Found Erevan, and it was essentially like, hey, look, you are bad. However, you are a big scary Space Marine, and I can use you to kill other big scary Space Marines. And in doing so, I'll help you find the guy that wronged you, and you can have your revenge. And then after that, we'll deal with whatever we got to then. And Erevan was like, sure, I don't really give a shit about living after this is all done anyway. I'm just gonna drop this, I think.
Things are by their nature distant from the here and now, which is impractical.
So yeah, and that's how Lilandra came apart. Now, Erevan's name, once again, being the Dog of the Eighth, also because it helps because he has a skull. So his helmet is modeled after the skull of a Nostraman street dog, this massive fucking, like, Nostraman Mastiff, that mauled him as a kid. And his helmet is based off of that, which is why it's a dog skull. I've shown Erevan to some people. It's like, oh, is that like a Space Wolf helmet? It's like, no, it's the helmet of the dog that, like, mauled him when he was, like, 11 or something. He got pulled into being a Space Marine when he was, like, 12, which is, like, a little late for a lot of people, which is why, like, some members of his... like, Erevan was always kind of like a weirder guy. He was not like weird and like quirky. I mean, all Night Lords are weird. Sorry, it's part of the job description of being a Night Lord. But he was always one to be like. He seemed to like have a lot more of his previous emotions intact than others. Like he like, you know, he would still do his Space Marine duty. He would never hesitate. But it was always like that. Some people could tell there was always that underlying feeling, and people speculate it's because he was like older when he was drafted than the others, being like 8 or 9 and him being 12. But yeah, the reason why Karath, or whatever the fuck I named that guy, hunted down Erevan specifically, him actually, Karath in the future, or like in the present of 40k, actually sent that warp portal back in time to Istvan 5 to kidnap Erevan, and essentially like set him up to be like, this guy feels emotions more than the average Space Marine. Let's see if we can't up that to the next degree and like get him like can we make him essentially like fall in love, basically? And because of that, because he wants to turn Irvan into a demon prince, by Slanesh demon prince, by essentially like making him experience like true emotion and whatnot, like and then like that would make him like more susceptible to the transformation. And after his Irvan's trip to the warp, like through the warp into the future, he didn't awaken any like latent psychic potential per se, but essentially like he has, I don't know how you would describe this, but essentially like, stick my psychic real quick, he'll have dreams, I guess, of Conrad Kurz, and like the dreams won't be like memories or whatever, and he'll essentially like be talking to his father, who he knows is long dead, but it's one of those things where like it feels so real and in the moment, and new that like Irvan wonders if he's not talking to like some sort of remnant or demon in the warp. Either a demon in the warp pretending to be his father, or some like remnant of Conrad Kurz's soul. And to be honest, I don't even know the answer to that. I think I like leaving it up to interpretation, even in my own head. Because I think it's better that way. So once again, like, obviously, the taint of the warp is on him a little bit. And Lilandra is an incredibly powerful psyker. I don't know what type of psyker she is. I've floated a few different things. I think she's just like, I think just putting her as like a potent psyker is like good enough. She's not like a biomancer, that I know for sure. I think she is just straight up like sort of the generic like mind-ready force. Like, she doesn't really use like warp attacks, like she can, but they're not like super reliable. So, like, she much prefers her bolt pistol. Like, I say she's not a biomancer, but she does use her psychic ability to, so like okay, this requires a bit more context. So Lilandra can't walk very good. Like, the cane she has is actually like real. It's not just like a cool skull on a stick to be scary and has some like other function. Now, the inside the cane is a force sword, right? It's because cane swords are cool. And there's a few other devices in like the sword as well, like, or in the skull as well, like ident codes, scan, oh yeah, all sorts of shits in there. Well, okay. At least I wasn't yeeted off into oblivion. So her leg got like fucked up. So she, like, part of the tendon got cut. And now you may be saying it's the 41st millennia and she's a Inquisitor of the Ordo Malleus. She can get, like, augmetics. She doesn't want augmetics because she uses her being crippled, like, you know, limping, using a cane to walk and all that. It's like, you know, some egotistical governor or, like, chaos cultist is going to see this and be like, ha 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 ha. You know, foolish Inquisitor who's so crippled. But she can use her psychic ability to temporarily, essentially, like, return her full movement back. So, but she's not like a biomancer in the sense that she can, like, change her face or whatever. But but she can like use like that little bit. I guess it would technically legally be biomancy to get her full range of motion back. But typically, she's not like usually the Inquisitor do the fighting herself. In fact, she doesn't even have a set of power armor. Because she has an Ogren, a Bog, by the way, is canonic to be one of Inquisitor Lilandra's closest confidants, her explicator, some might say. But she has a Night Lord. She has a guard regiment attached to her, known as the Meridian Sharks. They are very good at like insertion, like stealth insertion, kinda, but like, you know, they can do like the stealth ops, but they're really good at like strike team insertion, like hit and run tactics. And obviously they're from a planet called Meridia, which was a death world, a death water world, much like the movie. And the captain of the Meridian Sharks, or like leader, whatever you want to say, like sergeant, captain, whatever you want to say, is a woman by the name of Kier. She's an old woman. Like, she is pretty up there. She's like 57. And she has really good hearing, and that's like one of her quirks. I'm sorry, I'm bringing her up. She's not necessary to this. But like, Lilandra has like a lot of resources to her. She will get in the fight if she needs to. The bolt pistol isn't just for show. And she's like, once again, an incredibly powerful psyker. She can fry your brain if she needs to. So yeah. If you're wondering what fucked their leg up so bad, it was orcs. It was orcs. Always orcs. I was thinking of it being a lick there, but I feel like it's just more funny if I say orcs. Just a rusty blade from an orc. Ouch. It's like, you know, the phrase, like, every orc gets one. That was that orc's one. Ouch. Well, that's annoying. That's incredibly annoying. There's a lot of fucking fire. I wonder if there's any charges left over there. There isn't. I must have used the charge. I don't remember if I did, but clearly I did. Excuse me, I think I will go up this way. Yeah. Now, she does actually, not only on top of the Space Marine, Lilandra does have a Xenos in her retinue. She has a Tau Fire Warrior. And the Tau is a sniper. You might have seen, her name is, oh fuck, I can't remember her name. It's like incredibly Tau. I'd have to pull up my.
Process failure. Reapply. This time pay more attention.
It's time to get back in the fight. Reloading. Monsieur, Aquila in motion.
Yeah, she's a sniper, and you know, I'm upset.
Inoperative. Remedy.
There. But yeah, also fun facts about Iravan, to loop back to him again. He is stained with the Sinner's Red. He doesn't really know why. All he knows is that one time he was one of the people that had to go into Conrad Kurz's room after Conrad Kurz was on full crash out mode. And Conrad Kurz like pounced on him, as Conrad Kurz does. And instead of just dying, like Irvan was essentially like, I'm not gonna let this guy just like rip my head off. I'm gonna try to stab him. And he tried. Obviously, it didn't work because Conrad Kurz is a Primarch. I was really worried that was gonna knock me. And then Conrad, for some reason, just let him live, and just stained him with the Sinner's Red. And when asked why, Conrad Kurz literally said, "You haven't done it yet." Who knows what that fucking means? So yeah. Anytime Iravan sleeps, he essentially is just like, I guess you could call them like nightmares, hallucinations, where he's just like with Conrad Kurz. Once again, no clue if it's some vestige of Conrad's soul in the warp, a demon pretending otherwise, or if maybe Iravan just finally lost his mind. Now, there is actually also a Blood Angel important to their story. It's one by the name of Lucifer. But I don't have much about him other than he's important to the story. And essentially will become like, starting off as like obviously distrusting of Iravan because he's not only a Night Lord but also literally a heretical Space Marine, right? What Lucifer would deem as heretical. Or traitor, or whatever you want to say. Then, on top of that, being a Night Lord. The scummiest of them. So, yeah. Kind of just yapped about lore, didn't I? So lucky, so lucky. Sorry, I was responding to someone about Vi got revealed for 2XK. God, what a shit name. Riot Games' fighting game, and her ult is really bad. Like it's like they wanted to do Akuma, but it's not cool enough. It's just so bad. But alright, if you made this fun video, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, or don't. I'm not your mother, but you better brush your teeth. Now have a good one. Bye bye.